Well, good morning. On this episode of Jazz with Chad, we're going to get into some nice trumpet and saxophone sounds. So, without any further ado, here we go. All right. As much as I do like jazz and music, we're not going to talk about music today, or there's probably listen to very much music. But I just thought, since I'm getting over this wonderful throat thing and I just kind of almost have an extra octave down, might as well take use of it and have a nice morning jazz sound. So today, in this episode of Coffee with Chad, we're going to have Mad Mike Hughes on as a guest here in a little bit. He's going to be calling in and discussing some things that he's up to. Looking forward to that, and definitely have some questions for him. So if you guys have questions for him, you can go to on YouTube and you can comment on there, and also on Facebook. And I will periodically be popping a excuse me, a cough drop. I apologize in advance for hacking and coughing on you, but it's the trade-off for having this wonderful baritone. All right, let's see here. So today's episode, we got Mad Mike Hughes. I also want to get into the subject of dinosaurs and then genetic testing and privacy issues with that. So let's see. I guess we'll get into genetic testing first. So it just seems like over time, more and more, there's privacy issues coming out where we see that this big, huge company had all this data and they shared it with this company, or this huge company, to get to where they did, they had to have like some kind of deals with the government to where the government has backdoor access to certain information. And so this stuff is, I think, pretty common knowledge nowadays. And so, excuse me, on the subject of genetic testing, I always wonder, let's say you have a legit company that, you know, I want to know my ancestry. I want to know what is my great-great-great-great-grandparents, where they come from, or, you know, things like that or whatever. It's kind of interesting that we can, you know, take a swab of your cheek or whatever it works and send it off, and they can tell you, you know, all kinds of stuff about your DNA and your background and stuff. It's pretty cool, but at the same time, when you have companies that have that access of millions and millions of people, and they can see genealogies, and they can really literally map things out, the human history, you know, with technology, they can just map out and see, you know, where people fit in from where. To me, I think it's pretty startling and pretty scary to think about. How could that be used against us? And so, has there ever been a time, excuse me, can we think of any time where there's been this massive amount of knowledge available and the powers that be don't use it for something bad? I mean, I can't think of a single instance where that's not the case. And so you got to wonder, all of these genetic testing and all that kind of stuff, you got to wonder what are the possible things that could be used for. And I know, you know, if you read like Nathan Reynolds' book, Snatched from the Flames, for instance, you know, there's a world that very much wants to know their genealogy, that very much wants to be able to trace their backgrounds and see what bloodlines they're in. And if you look at a lot of the real wicked people through history, is they want to be able to trace their bloodlines and know this pure bloodlines and all that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting subject, but I'm not ever going to do anything like that. You know, that Ancestry.com, or I think there's 23andMe and things like that. I will never do that. And part of it too is you got to think, what if you go back far enough, we're all coming from the same place. So I find it interesting that they say, you know, yeah, I'm 40% Norwegian, I'm 20% Irish, I'm 5% Italian, I'm 2% Ethiopian, or whatever. Well, if you go back far enough, we all come from the same place. So how far back are they looking to be able to tell us that? You know, if they're looking 1,000 years, you go back far enough, we understand that the Garden of Eden, you know, when Adam and Eve got kicked out, I mean, we all started from two people and spread from there. So, you know, if you look back far enough, it's, to me, it's almost pointless. So, and then it also brings into all of the genetic manipulation that's going on today. And I just think the idea of giving out the powers that be, all of this kind of information is kind of a startling thing to do. So I certainly will not participate in that. But I just wanted to briefly touch on that. So regarding dinosaurs, for instance, off the subject, I'm going to get this up here. Bear with me here for a second. Let me mute this. Good morning, Joe. I see you in here in the chats. Always good to see you. Joe Garcia from Question Everything 2019. You can go to QE2019.com. Check out the Question Everything Conference coming up in Southern California in February. It's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to being there. Thank you, Joe, for the invite. All right, so getting into dinosaurs. I know a lot of people, especially coming from a Christian background, you know, we want to know how uh-oh, is this thing running slow? It is running slow, isn't it? Let me fix that real quick. Has that been running slow the whole time, Joe, by the way? No. I got, let me stop that. That might help. So getting into dinosaurs, we wonder, how does it fit into the Bible? How does the subject of dinosaurs, and when you picture dinosaurs, you pretty much automatically go into millions, billions of years, and you go into evolution. And so the subject of dinosaurs, to me, especially how it's used by modern scientism, by the modern religion of science, to promote the idea of evolution and to promote the idea of millions and billions of years, and it completely contradicts what we find in the beginning of Genesis. Excuse me. And so, you know, and then we got to come up with things like the gap theory, where Genesis 1:1 to Genesis 1:2, there's a gap of bajillions of years to account for what science has told us. And so in that respect, it's almost like we take what these men in white suits tell us as gospel more than the Bible. And so to me, and I've talked about this like at FEIC, you know, from stage, that I proclaim, and my purpose and my point is to lift up the Bible and God's word more than man's understanding and more than what we agree on as far as our intellectual side of things. And I think a big part of that are these men in white suits that when we go through school, their word is infallible, that we can't question them, but we can't question what we see in our textbooks. When you see the sun, moon, and the stars, you can't question what we're told they are. You know, you can't question that Earth isn't a planet going around the sun. I mean, it's just crazy to think otherwise, right? I mean, I saw this video with, you know, these basketball players recently with Steph Curry, especially, you know, him, for instance, where if you dare question the narrative that we didn't go, you know, that we went to the moon, if you think that's a lie, well, how dare you? Because men in white suits have proven that that's a fact. How dare you? When in fact it's such a strongly held belief that it has become a religion to so many people. And if you dare question their religion, that their world, you know, that their entire life sits on, then it goes into super defense mode. And so you want to see somebody go psycho, start poking at their religion of science, and they'll go psycho on you. because it's not rational. It's because it's a religion at that point. Whether, there's a lot of atheists that are more religious than a lot of people. They just don't understand that it is a religion to them, that it is a strong belief system. It's just their belief is in their understandings. The beliefs are in the men in white suits, and the notion that there is no God and that they don't answer to anybody. And it kind of on the flip side, too, is a notion of, this being your own God, and to where I'm in control of this and I'm my own deity. And, I speak this into the universe and the universe will provide this for me. And so questioning the moon landings, I think it's ludicrous to think that we went to the moon. I think it's asinine. And you see these, excuse me, you see these guys get questioned. The people that let's say if you're out there in the public eye, you're somebody famous, and you make a comment like, yeah, I don't think we went to the moon. Well, it's just like, to me, like saying, well, I don't think the story of JFK is what really happened. I think somebody else did it, or I think this and that, or whatever. Why is it such a bad taboo thing to question? Why is it that if you question or say that you don't believe the official story, like 9/11, why is it that you're suddenly labeled for that? Why can't we question these kind of things? So that's all I'm doing. I want people to question. I want people to question everything. Like the Question Everything Conference. Man, bright and early. Today's the first 1 hour long episode of Coffee with Chad and Smooth Jazz with Chad. So, let's see here. Oh, but back to dinosaurs. There's a dude that has, he was a scientist guy. He found soft tissue on some of the dinosaur, skeletons and stuff. And he, like a legit thing where they're soft, and basically it disproves the idea of millions or billions of years. And instead of, digging into this and finding out what kind of, where does this lead us, the dude was just, blackballed, I guess you want to say. He was just outcast. And so if you're in the world of the religion of science and you actually do real science and find out where it leads you and start going down where all the testing leads you, if it leads you to question the official narrative of evolution, the Big Bang, and that religion, if it gets you to question those kind of things, then you are outcast and you're kicked out of that system. So that this dude in particular, finding this, soft tissue and dinosaur skeletons, things like that, question the official narrative of millions and billions of years. To me, with the biblical aspect of it, is, if you read the beginning of Genesis, it was everything on earth back then, before the fall of man, was vegetarian. Everything. So all the animals, everything else. Whereas if you look at the what we're told by, growing up, when you go to government schooling, you're told that, back bajillions of years ago, there was, a big bang, and then life evolved. And then at some point there was dinosaurs, and there was like meat eaters eating all these other, non-meat eaters, and vice, what I mean, so on and so forth. And then eventually there was cavemen, where did they come from? But there's, somehow, oh yeah, that's right, they came from monkeys, right? Cavemen, and then eventually, the Neanderthal, the missing link that's never been found, right? That's been forged many, many times, but never been found. And then all of a sudden there's humans, right? Well, the Bible doesn't say anything like that whatsoever. It starts out where everything was vegetarian, everything got along with everything, and Adam helped to name, a lot of the I think all the animals and so on and so forth, right? Where everything was like extremely peaceful. And that's how it was. And then the fall of man. And then that's when things went haywire because of man and because of the lies of Satan, right? Lying to Eve, and Eve gave to her husband, and he was apparently just gave into it. Which, you know, my pastor friend, Victor, he said he's praying one time, and he says, you know, if I would have been there, I never would have eaten that. And he said he felt God tell him, you would have done it sooner. And so you got to wonder, I think we all would have fallen into that sooner or later. And maybe it's something that just had to be. I mean, it had to be the case because all of us would have done it. So I don't understand the exact, God's plan. Obviously, that's His plan. But I do understand that the Bible does not support millions and billions of years of, all this of the official story that we're told. And so, is there dinosaurs in the Bible? Well, if you look at, God speaking to Job, and there's oh man, having a brain fart here. But there is a few instances where he talks about, this huge animal with this tail like an oak. And, there's certainly descriptions of sea creatures and land creatures. And so it certainly seems like there's places in the Bible that describe things like dinosaurs. And then you get into subjects like, well, was there dinosaurs on the ark then? I have no idea. But I think the official story absolutely has to be questioned. I think we have to absolutely question what we've been told, because the vast majority of history, if you can control our history, you control where our minds are and what we believe in, man, you can control our future. And so when you understand probably almost all of our history is fabricated or slightly twisted or vastly twisted, everything is up for debate. Everything is questionable. And I find it amazing how people in this religion of science, the religion of science, not actual science, but the religion side of science, how it is infallible and you can't question it. And that's a religion. So religion to me is a bad word. Let's see here. And then also, well, actually, well, I'm thinking of that. Let's have a sip of coffee. We're going a little slow this morning. I kind of like it. I need some jazz. Let's see. I don't think I have any jazz on here. All right. Looking at everybody here in Facebook chats here. Aurora, Joe, great to see you in here. Arlo, good morning, Arlo. Arlo's got a lot of good things going on. He's got Flat Earth Kids coloring pages you can print off. And I know he's got the Flat Earth magazine that he's working on, that assembling. I mean, that's a big undertaking. So the Flat Earth magazine, check out Arlo on there. And wanting to come out with his first run of the Flat Earth magazine. So check that out for sure. He's got a GoFundMe on that as well to help that get going. There's quite a few expenses with anything like that, with launching anything. And if you feel led to do that or would like to help Arlo move that process forward, you can check out him. That's Arlo Calles, Calles. Thanks, Arlo. Appreciate that. And Michael Solomon. Great to see you in here, Michael. Good morning. Got to meet you in Ohio in August at Take on the World. Glad to hear you're doing better and feeling great. So, Michael, appreciate all your hard work, too. Michael Solomon has a YouTube channel. Excuse me. And he's got a lot of work, especially with, I like photography. I like videography and all that kind of stuff. But Michael is far more of an expert than me when it comes to that side of things and digital, creation. Oh, and Michael, you got your color Canon Quest. He's got his Canon Quest. So if you got kids wanting to know different Bible stories, I would check out Canon Quest. I think it's canonquest.com. Is that right, Michael? I think so. Check out Canon Quest as far as there's a lot of different stories with Daniel and with a lot of other big figures in the Bible and just in the cards and just simple. With my book, I wanted to make it very visually appealing to go along with what the Bible says, to really, so you can visually see, what's being described. And I know Michael did something extremely similar and very colorful. So if you got kids, there we go. All right, here's our guest, Mr. Mad Mike Hughes. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine, man. Got busy, so a lot of paperwork, a lot of court stuff. How's it going for you?
Oh, good, good. You are live on the air this morning. And so, things are going great. We're discussing a few topics. Every one of these shows, I like to kind of keep about 2 topics on hand, discuss those, and people are in the comments and on YouTube and Facebook. And so, everybody, we got Mad Mike Hughes on the line. If you're not familiar with him, I met him at FEIC 2018 just this last month in Denver, and he had his limo pulling a bright green rocket behind it, and definitely was hard to avoid. You got a lot of attention there. So, Mike, thanks for coming on. And if you want to let everybody know just a couple little bits about yourself, what's a little bit of your background?
Well, I've always been a free thinker, and I always questioned authority, especially when I was in school. I never finished high school. I figured out early that it was just a bunch of bull. It really didn't mean anything. And my whole life was racing. That's what I did. I made it to the upper echelon of NASCAR, and I was a professional motorcycle racer, and just that's what I did most of my life. And basically, then 9/11 happens, and I start questioning things, and then one day the flat Earth comes up, and start looking into that. But right now I look into a bunch of court stuff. I want everyone to know, everyone in court or everything in court is fraudulent. All of it is fraudulent. It's all quasi. I don't care if it's probate, traffic court, family court. It's quasi courts. They don't even exist.
Wow.
So we can start with that.
Yeah, sure. I heard an interview you did about a month ago on the subject, and I got to say I am very ignorant on this subject in particular. It seems very interesting to me, and anymore, I've come to realize that so much that we get from this world is just backwards. It's just lies and lies, and So I'm certainly open to hearing what you have to say on that. So yeah, go ahead.
So when I speak, I like to be able to maybe help everyone with something that is an everyday problem or something may affect everyone's life. I've got a lot of interest in my life, but this court stuff, once I learned the fraud and the deception is through the language. They use a language called dog Latin. That's not even English. When you see an all capitalization of your name, that is not you. That's a legal entity, and they're making you responsible for that. That is a crime of conversion, barratry, and personage is what that's. So those are crimes. So I don't think very many people in the court system know this. I don't know how many judges do. I think very few attorneys do. I know none of the court clerks do. They're clueless about this. But that's how they make you responsible. That's how they send you to prison. You pay tickets. You pay IRS. everything. I haven't paid taxes in probably 15 years. I don't file IRS. I don't believe them. They have no standing. I don't pay traffic tickets, although I do have a fight with them in court. I've had 6 tickets or 8 tickets dismissed in the last 2 or 3 years with 2 criminal charges, resisting a cop, and then counterfeit of a license plate. I used to make my own license plates. And I want everyone to look up UCC 1-308 and see what it means. And sign that before your name on everything you do. It's the reservation for your rights, and you'll learn what it means. That's the remedy. Now, cops don't even know this. I've not met one policeman that knows what the Universal Commercial Code is. I've not met one cop that knows what the common law is. I've not met one cop or highway patrolman that knows what a court of record is. And in California, all courts of record, all superior courts, are to proceed under the common law. And no crime has been committed unless a man or woman or their property has been damaged.
Wow. And does this kind of tie into how on your birth certificate the number on there could be, it's basically traded on the stock market? Is that kind of along the same lines?
Yeah, well, it is. A lot of people know more about that subject than I do. And
Okay.
I do not claim to be an expert at anything. I just research stuff and I make things happen. I put it in motion. And I do things that most people are too afraid of doing. Right now, I'm going up against the Department of Justice, and I am threatening them. I am the lady that's after me because I'm scaring them in court. Something I did recently. When you go to court in California, I don't care if it's criminal or ticket, they have the people of the state of California versus, of course, your name in all capitalization. Well, I own the capitalization of my birth name, which is very important. You need to do that. Everyone, go to your county recorder and record every variation of your name in capital letters. And basically, I claim the people of the state of California. I claim that in a county court filing. And man, it's freaking them out because it actually shuts down all the courts. Of course, they're not recognizing them because they're unlawful anyway. But when you start using the system against itself, man, they do not like it.
Wow.
And now the Department of Justice has stepped in, and I'm threatening them. I don't let anyone scare me. When I jumped my rocket last March, I told the BLM to go screw off. I don't want to put up your stuff because you have no authority.
Wow.
You have no authority because you're acting as a alphabet agency of a bankrupt corporation, which is the United States. The United States doesn't even exist. It is a fiction. In fact, the language is fiction. It doesn't even say anything because it's dog Latin, and dog Latin has to have hyphens between every word. So it's a cross between English and Latin, which makes it counterfeit. Now, that's how bizarre it is. And I know a lot of people are going to go, holy moly, but that is the truth.
Wow.
The deception is in the language.
Wow. What's interesting is that I know in the past when I was in my 20s and I knew everything, it's funny how I'd jump to conclusions and I would judge right off the bat out of complete ignorance. And so what I've learned over the years is to shut my mouth and to actually listen to what other people have to say and do some research before I start giving opinions. So for those of you guys out there that this is all new, which this is a very new subject to me as well, I've learned to keep my mouth shut and do some research. And so, yeah, I appreciate you sharing all this, and very, very interesting for sure. And I know the system in general and the world in general wants us to be ignorant and wants us to not be informed about things. And so, I mean, it's, like you said, you're using the system and learning the system and learning the ins and outs. And it's funny how a lot of people don't understand that, which I'm one of them. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. And so you just, getting in the subject of rockets.
Yes.
That was an amazing, sight to see. And that was when was your last rocket launch with your green one?
March 24th.
Wow. And that was steam-powered rocket, right?
Yeah, well, actually, superheated water. And
Okay.
once you pop the cork, it flashes the steam. And when that steam now and saturated water leaves the rocket, it is exiting the rocket nozzle at the speed of sound, 760-something miles an hour, depending on sea level.
Wow. And what kind of do you know what kind of G-force that was on you?
Yeah, it's anywhere from 4.3 to 7.
Wow. That's amazing. And did you remain conscious that whole time or gray out
Yeah,
or anything?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, remembered almost all. The problem is your body is trying to keep up with what's happening to it. It seems like it's about a second behind, maybe
Wow.
2.
Wow. That's amazing. I got to tell you, in this last year after publishing the book and getting to meet so many people, there's so many people I can tell you that is like, wow, this is such an absolutely unique person that like I'll never meet somebody with these unique qualities before. And you're definitely one of those people that I've gotten to meet in the last year that are like that. That's just amazing. And aside from NASA, excuse me, I got a question. Aside from NASA, do you know if there's anyone that has supposedly launched from a rocket off the Earth? Is there other people besides NASA?
Well, other government space agencies.
Aside from government space agencies, do you know if any private people have launched themselves or?
No, which is what I'm trying to become the first private guy to launch into space. The edge of space was a private effort, and we're
Wow.
$2 million away, and we can do it within a year.
Wow. Because what I'm wondering, because in my opinion, I don't think that NASA's ever launched anybody in a rocket. I think they've all been empty. In my opinion, that's been the case. And I got to wonder if all governments are like that. Think of this. What if you were the actual first person to ever be launched from Earth in a rocket, like that you built? What if that is the case? I know you're the first person to build, design, and launch
Yeah.
yourself for sure. But what if you're the first person to actually, because this whole the VSS Unity just last week, they launched from a plane. I mean, they were dropped from a plane. Their rocket took off, so they didn't start from Earth. But it's interesting to think about. And so your next project, your rocket? Did I hear you're going 52 miles? Is the
Well,
plan?
hopefully 62.8. That used to be the Kármán line.
Okay.
Now they're saying the Kármán line is 50 miles, which I don't believe that. I mean, how can they be off 12 miles on that? So I don't know. We're planning to go up 60, almost 63 miles, and we're going to go up with the balloon to about 20, 22 miles, and I'll fire the rocket, and it will pull me up the other 40 something miles. It'll take about,
Wow.
I think we figure 20 to 30 seconds then. But the balloon ride is going to be about, I think, 2 hours.
Wow. Wow. That is awesome. Very, very gutsy. So that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Now, we're on this earth, I think, to inspire other people, and we're supposed to all treat everyone like a brother or a sister, and we've lost that.
Yeah.
We've lost our meaning. We've lost through technology, through the lies, and people think, well, the lies just started. No, I mean, I think it goes back before the Civil War, but honestly, think about the people that was brainwashed after World War II. The 50s and 60s was nothing but brainwashing with television, programming, the movies, E.T., all the space movies. Come home, your mom's supposed to look like Beaver Cleaver's mom. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was all brainwashing, all of it.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I know in the back of the book, of my book, I mentioned the other day about the world versus the word, and just how this whole world is full of so many lies and deception. And yeah, what you're saying is, I mean, from what can tell, is absolutely the truth. Just we are lied to every single day, and if you can get people to believe something, they're born into it. So why would we question so much of this?
Right. And then we're thrown into the school system, and we're taught and told stuff and graded on stuff before we can even critically think
Mm-hmm.
about anything and draw any critical thinking conclusions.
Yep.
Now, also, they've studied children 7 years age and under. Their frequency of their brain is almost that close to being hypnotic stage. Their
Wow.
frequencies are different. So, yeah, I mean, the earlier they can grab you, the more they can tune in that frequency. And it's just absolutely bizarre. I don't know, it's above a lot of people's head to even consider that. But, yeah, everything is a lie.
Yep.
Not one thing is the truth. Not one thing. That's the bizarre thing. Not one thing is the truth.
Now, one question I had, and I know you when we chatted the other day, if you don't mind,
Yes.
if you don't mind sharing on this, you said prior to the subject of flat Earth, you were an atheist. Is that right?
Yeah, I started looking at the Bible in about 1981 and read it. I've read the Bible through 5 times. I'm not a scholar. I don't claim to be a scholar. I can't recall really very few Bible verses. And then once I got into this stuff and figured out everything was pretty much a lie, I thought, well, wait a second. Our language is a lie. who's to say they didn't mess with the Quran or the Bible, which I'm sure they have. They've changed the language. They've changed the calendar twice. I said everything's alive, so it turned me into an atheist for about 5 years. And then the flat Earth comes around. I go, well, there's got to be a creator for the flat Earth. So it brought me to believing there is a creator. Back to that.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. When you see that the Earth, or learn or start to learn that the Earth is not what we've been told, and that it's, on a level plane, it that has to, like you said, that's a fingerprint of a creator. And then why would mankind hide that from people? If you can get people to believe that they're insignificant and that they just happen to be by chance, then you can tell them whatever history they want, and they'll fall right
Yes.
into it.
Yes, yeah, they've hidden other countries from us, other civilizations. A good person for everyone to listen to is a guy named Max Egan from Australia. Very well spoken gentleman. Um, he learned very early that everything was a lie. He questioned everything from like 4 years of age and up. He couldn't believe that people could buy property. How could you buy property? And it went from there. And he lived outside society for 20 something years as a musician. And he's a good guy to listen to. And he's not a flat earther. He don't believe in the globe Earth either. He just everything is deception. And then if you want to learn more about the language, just Google something called the Justinian deception. And a guy from Australia, Romley Stewart, explains it. And it's very, very interesting how the language has been tweaked around, and you're made responsible for this stuff. And it's really, really bizarre. And that's why most people just can't grasp it. That they just can't believe that everything is like that. And it is everything. When your government is not even lawfully, it's a bankrupt corporation. And in 1933, they claimed that we were all enemies of the state. So
Wow.
we're enemies of the country. It's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. So now you got people going to war, fighting for a country that called you, a bankrupt corporation called you an enemy. It's bizarre.
Hmm. Yeah, like
So I just ask people, do not get away from these big banks, get away from these evil companies like Progressive or Geico for your car insurance. Just research all these companies, and don't vote. You're buying into the system when you vote.
there's one comment. It says UCC1 X08. Was it 308?
No,
Was it?
308.
Okay. Okay, 308. All right.
Very
Uh,
important to
okay.
learn that.
Okay. UCC1 308.
Yes, very important to learn it. Sign it before everything, before your name.
Interesting. All this is very new to me. And Aurora Lee says, "Hello, Mike." Um, let's see. Let's see here. So, yeah, and then I know you said you had 15 minutes, and so we're gonna wrap
Well,
it
yeah,
up.
whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just
Okay.
sitting here. I'm waiting for a phone call anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. This subject. When you look at the Bible, I chatted with you the other day about this, but how in John, the beginning of the book of John, it talks about Jesus, like um, that everything that was made through Jesus. And so this subject to me, it's seeing that the earth is not what we've been told it is. And I just appreciate you so much for you bringing so much attention to this subject.
Yes.
You were,
Yeah.
I mean, you're everywhere. Just last night I was looking you up online here, and there's videos of you being talked about everywhere, about your different rocket launches and how you it's everywhere. And so, like your Tosh Point oh, it's a very the Daniel Tosh is more of a kind of a vulgar comedian. So
Yeah, I understand that.
yeah,
That
but
was not a position for me to be serious.
yeah, yeah. But
Um,
that was one of the funniest interviews I've ever seen. And so
yes,
just you were bringing so much attention to the subject. Like on the side of your rocket here, I got it pulled up on the screen. It says research flat earth. You're bringing so much attention to this. And then in doing so, it's like it shows, when you understand the earth is not what we've been told, and it completely shows a creator. And then
yeah,
when you look at the Bible and see everything was made through Jesus, and and how he came into his own creation to set it straight on the cross, and to where destroy the works of Satan and just to restore. And so it's this, I don't know, we're just in such an amazing time of grace and to where all this knowledge and understanding is coming out. And, I just applaud you for, playing your part in that and
Yeah,
for,
well, thank you. Just please, and two other things. I want everyone to research everything. I don't say believe in anything. Just research it and get the real facts and back up the facts and go to your city council meetings and find out what's happening at your city council level. And then just put it into action. Do something, and don't let other people what they think dictate how you think and how you act.
yeah,
Because a lot of people are just afraid of what someone else is going to think.
yeah,
And but yeah, just that whole that city council thing. It's really important to get involved with your local politics. It really is.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see all these things going on and wonder what we can do. And we think on this huge level, we'll start local, start with where you're at. If everybody
Yes.
started with where they were and worked at
Yes.
where they are, then we don't have to think what's going on in New York or whatever. We'll let people there, worry about their local stuff and we'll worry about ours. And, but yeah, no, that's great. And I just appreciate you, having the guts to do all this and the drive that you have. And you're one of the most interesting people I've ever met. That's for sure, Mike.
Well, thanks. I just hopefully someone can draw something from what I've said today and benefit them. And I by far do not have all the answers, and no one else does either. It's just that I will turn over every stone and try to find the answer. And because they're hidden, everything's hidden because we've got everything's a puzzle, and every one of these puzzles in front of us is missing pieces.
Yep. And so, if people want to get a hold of you, where can they find you? You have a GoFundMe, is that right, for your upcoming
Well,
rocket?
yeah, that's supposed to be out, I think, by Thursday.
Oh,
This next Thursday, the GoFundMe to go to space.
okay, that's awesome. So keep a lookout for that. It looks like madmikehughes.com is your website.
Yeah, and it never gets updated. It's always behind. I just everything's kind of like that. I just yeah. But something else I want everyone to look out for is don't buy into this 5G network. Okay, that is not a good thing for anyone. 5G is not good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos about this, and that
Yes, it is not good. No smart meters, nothing smart in your house. And no 5G. In fact, a friend of mine is developing a laser right now that can take down 5G towers.
Wow,
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks for sharing that. So yeah,
Okay, buddy.
look into 5G, and then I did see you're on Facebook as, is it Rocket Man? Is that where you're at on there?
Oh, that is the Facebook page from the movie coming out about me. It's
Okay,
already done, I guess. Yeah, if you look at this, I think it's just called Rocket Man on Facebook, and it shows the movie trailer.
cool,
And you can post it if you want to. Send it out. I don't care.
cool. Yeah, it looked. Yeah, I watched it last night. I shared it on my Facebook too. It's on there. I shared it, and
Oh, great. Thanks, Chad.
that's really cool. So very cool. All right, Mike. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you.
Okay, buddy. Take care of yourself,
All
okay?
right, thanks. You too.
Okay, bye.
All right, that was Mad Mike Hughes. So, excuse me. Yeah, at these at all these conferences I go to, I don't know how to describe it, but I see people and I meet people where it's like there's nobody that I'll ever meet again that fits this criteria that this person is in. If that makes sense. A lot of their characteristics. I can tell you, by name certain people at certain conferences where I'm like, wow, this guy is so interesting. Anyway, and so Mike was definitely one of those people. So, anyway, that Tosh.0 interview I talk about, you don't want your kids to watch it. It's very funny, but it's adult, crude humor, because that Daniel Tosh is definitely a more of a vulgar comedian. But anyway, I don't know. I think it's hilarious. But all right, you know what time it is?
Funny dad joke time.
All right. Did you hear about the two guys that stole a calendar? They each got 6 months. That's right, people. So, Aurora, thank you, and stay intact, Mike. That's right. Charmaine, supply links for Mike Egan. Yeah, I can do that in the description. I have no idea who that is. But there's so many subjects like this that I find interesting. I've really learned, and it's got to be, just maturing and realize we don't know everything. I've really learned to shut my mouth when it comes to a lot of things because I've been proven wrong so many times over the years that I've learned to just keep my mouth shut. And on when you hear something new, it's like in the Bible talks about being quick to listen and slow to speak. I think that's in Proverbs, and just I think you got 2 ears, 1 mouth, so it's important to do twice as much listening, as talking. And so on this one, we weren't able to get an ad, a sponsor for this episode, but there's a new segment for the show. Today is the first segment, the first instance of this new segment. So let's check it out. Here we go. Questions to ponder. Circa, where are you? By the name, it sounds like you are in Italy, but I have seen desert pictures of you. Your mountains have been breathtaking and your oceans incredible. Circa, how can I find you? A land so diverse, yet so hard to find. I have looked for you on maps. Are you a country or a fairy tale land? Many old black and white pictures show no one smiling there. Did it used to be meh? Over the years, your citizens' smiles grew. It must be a wonderful land. Circa, you are a question I ponder. Where are you? I'm Chad Taylor. This has been a question to ponder. All right, that's right. A question to ponder. Makes you think. All right. So, good morning, everybody in here. Great to see you in here. I'm going to check out let's see here. Let's see the comments if I have some more questions at all. Oh, wait.
Okay, buddy, take care of yourself, okay?
Thanks. Oops. He just wanted to chime in and say, take care of myself again. Let me turn that down. There we go. The smooth sounds of jazz. All right. Good morning, Joe Hill. Jacob Lee. Good to see you in here. Nice. Got some good chats going on in here. Hey, good morning, Dean, Randall, and 4 other people. Not sure who you 4 other people are, but appreciate you guys. Excuse me. All right. So, with that, yeah. And so, I think, what Mike brought up with just questioning, and it's something I talk about a lot too, is just question. Just question what we get from the world. In the back of the book, it talks about the world versus the word, and it talks about how many places in the Bible it talks about the world being in opposition to God, and just the mindset, the attitudes of the world. And the world is out to deceive us. The world is out to get you to think that there is no creator, there is no God, and just to deceive us in every way possible, from the earliest age. And so if they can, tell us, the history, like with the Big Bang and with evolution and all that, they can make us feel and think that we are insignificant, which we are the opposite of being insignificant. We are extremely important. God knew us as he knit us together in our mother's womb. He knows how many hairs are on each of our heads. He knows he is very intimate with us. And it's not the opposite where, in the in the world that we're told, well, if the universe is expanding, then that means God is going further and further away from us. When, no, he's not. He's right above us, walking on the firmament, walking on the vault of heaven, walking on the dome, looking down at us, And so, yeah, he is very close. And, this whole nonsense about just the religion of science and all the stuff that we get, from the world is very much up for question. Very much. Everything is should be questioned. So, and I think what I want to do, maybe next, actually, off topic, I wanted to cover this earlier, is that, so in 2 days, so today's the 21st of December, on the 23rd of December, it's the 1-year anniversary of launching my book, Where Are We, Earth According to the Bible. It's the 1-year anniversary, which is crazy to think about. That was a fast year. And so in celebration of that, right now, the book is extremely, it's probably the lowest price it'll possibly ever be. I don't see how it can be cheaper. If you go to Amazon in the U.S. right now, it's $11.73. It's normally $29.95. If you guys are interested in all the payout stuff, there's calculators for stuff. But to figure out how much that I make off that, which is, I actually don't want to get into it. I don't know what I can. But that's the cheapest that you're ever going to find it. It is until December 31st. So it's 61% off right now, just in honor of the, or celebration, I should say, of the 1-year anniversary. So till December 31st, right now. I'll put the link in the description, and you're never going to find it cheaper. So, at least sold retail, you're never going to find it cheaper than that. All right. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Carl. So, Carl, the heavens and the earth were finished. So, Genesis 2, 1 through 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. The scripture, without a doubt, proves that the universe is not expanding. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. There are many, many places. Sure got a lot of people commenting here. Thank you all for chiming in. Let's see. Also, if you wouldn't mind to remember to like, subscribe, and share, that'd be great. If you guys like this, episode and like these, do me a favor and hit the share button, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe if you're on YouTube, all that kind of fun stuff. If you're listening on the podcast, certainly comment and share as well. That'd be great. And yeah, what I want to do in the future is have a call-in number, and have a basically a time during the show for people to call in if they want to discuss something or want to chime in. You can certainly do that. And next week, what I might do for next week's shows, for Tuesday and Friday, due to scheduling, I might have to do pre-records for next week. So next week, I'll record it live like this, but I might have to just post it, in the morning on Tuesday and Friday. But they'll probably be pre-recorded. So long story short, I don't think you'll be able to interact next week just due to scheduling. But, yeah, that's probably going to be the case. But just so you know. But I will have the episodes up. So, let's see. Any last-minute comments? All right. Yep. Certainly appreciate all you guys. Chad just popped in. Chad Preston, good to see you on here. Jacob Lee, Again, Joe, Dean Odell, always good to see you. And I think it's the first time I've seen you on here. Appreciate you. Randall Hoffman. Yep. Good morning, y'all. And Malav, I didn't see you on here. Good to see you on here. Sorry I missed you when I was scrolling through earlier. Jacob Lee, how do I get your book? So you can go to the website. There's two ways you can get it. If you go to wherearewethebook.com and right about, just scroll down a little ways and hit purchase. I think it's purchase. And let me just check real quick, just make sure. And then, excuse me. So yeah, so you can go to wherearewethebook.com, thebook.com. I'll just pull up the website real quick so you can see. Yeah, so here's the website, slightly off center here, but there's a video here if you want to watch that. And if you scroll down, it just says purchase. So this one right here, purchase, and what it'll do is it'll bring you to Amazon where you can get the book. So it'll bring you right to it. Also, down here, buying in bulk. After the sale is off on December 31st, so January 1st, this would be the next cheapest way after the 31st. If you want to buy multiple copies at a discount, you can buy them right here in bulk. And what happens is then I drop ship from the manufacturer at that point. That's the next cheapest way. But right now, the cheapest route, I might actually remove this because right now it's way cheaper just to go through single right here. So there you go, wherearewethebook.com. And yeah. Well, guys, bring them on camera. Joe Garcia, bring Joe on camera. I'm not sure what you mean, Joe. But anyway, everybody, appreciate you so much. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. And we'll be seeing you soon.